Why do we fail at dieting? At least once in your life, you probably heard the stories of people who not just failed at dieting but gained even more weight, or who could not maintain their states despite succeeding at first and regained weight as the so-called yo-yo effect. One of the causes for these cases is the fact that we have misunderstandings regarding the diet. The definition for the term diet implies that it is about food and drink regularly consumed or one's eating habit, but normally we tend to think that going on a diet is about eating in a restricted manner to lose weight rather than improving our eating habit and lifestyle. Why are we overly concerned about losing weight and set aside the aspect of changing our eating habits when we go on a diet? And why do we always fail at dieting? As we know, the typical notion of dieting is that it is about losing body weight by increasing the total caloric expenditure, which is achieved by consuming a low-calorie diet and exercising at high intensity. Now, when we go on a diet in such a poor manner, we will suffer from a side effect called a calorie deficit. It means that we're significantly lacking in the amount of calories needed for daily activities. For example, say Pablo needs 1,000 calories for his daily activities. If he consumes 500 calories per day, then he would experience a calorie deficit. This state would lead to a circumstance marked by physiological responses in which Pablo would inevitably fail at dieting. In order for Pablo to begin eating well to prevent calorie deficit, his brain begins to send signals that drastically increases the reward value of foods. In other words, if Pablo loved hamburgers, his brain would strongly arouse his desire for the hamburgers and continuously remind him about it, thereby compelling him to soon begin binge eating the hamburgers. Well then, can't we just overcome such increased reward values of foods and suppress our desires for a long time? If we patiently wait for a long time, will not the weight decrease and give us grace to binge eat for once? We can think in such ways, but that is not the reality. In order to study the calorie deficit, scientists conducted an experiment where the same amount of food was given to a group of mice which lost its weight through calorie deficit, a group of normal mice, and a group of originally skinny mice. The result was that the mice which experienced calorie deficit had an increase of 17 grams in body fat compared to the normal mice. This increase was even greater than the body fat increase of the originally skinny mice. The calorie deficit predisposed the mouse to gain weight easily. The point of today's video is that an individual may abstain from hamburgers for 1 month or for 1 year, but a diet solely relying on a calorie deficit will eventually fail. In order to succeed, it is important to not have a calorie deficit occur through abstinence. When we severely cut our food intake, we may feel that we have succeeded in dieting as we can observe the decrease in weight. However, proportional to the amount of time spent for the calorie deficit, our bodies will store more body fat when we return to the original diet. This is the reason for us to avoid repeatedly dieting solely by placing ourselves in a calorie deficit. If you're planning to go on a diet through a calorie deficit or are already doing it, please stop right now. Now, we should have a question that remains to be answered. How should we go on a diet in a healthy way? This will be introduced in the next video. If this video was helpful to you, please like and subscribe to our channel.
Logic Fitness.